Hello, YouTube Gallifrey here, and welcome to my Doctor Who DVD collection for November 2016. Now, what I decided, seeing as I've got quite a few Doctor Who DVDs since my last collection update, I have decided to do a brand new one. So yes, I have got quite a lot of new additions to my collection. So without further ado, let's get started with Lost in Time, a collection of Orphan Doctor Who episodes. Such a good box set with quite some good episodes on, such as the Celestial Toymaker episode 4, the Crusade, which needs its proper DVD release, parts of the Daleks Master Plan, the Abominable Snowman, and a load of other good Doctor Who content. Now moving on to the first ever Doctor Who story, An Unearthly Child. Yeah, An Unearthly Child is a great start, especially episode 1 to the Doctor Who's 53-year canon. Yeah, I love episode 1, and this also contains the pilot episode, which was never broadcast. Now moving on to the Daleks. Obviously, introduction to the Daleks. Yeah, I love the Daleks. Brilliant story. The Age of Destruction. Yeah, underrated two-parter. Yeah, it's very similar to Class Detained, but not. The Age of Destruction isn't as good, but it's still good. And this also contains Marco Polo reconstructions, a legendary Doctor Who missing story. Now moving on to the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Yeah, I love the Dalek Invasion of Earth. A brilliant 6-part. Really needs a special edition, this DVD. The Rescue, a very underrated 2-parter. Love The Rescue. Possibly one of my favourite Hartnell stories. That's how good it is. A lot of people don't like the story. I do. Now moving on to the Romans, my favourite purely historical story. Yeah, I love the Romans. A brilliant run around. Love the Romans. And not so good, the Gunfighters. Yeah, the Gunfighters, it's okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a quarrel. Yeah, the Gunfighters, it's... Now moving on to William Hartnell's final story, which is the 10th Planet. Yeah, I love the 10th Planet. Brilliant departure for Hartnell and introduction to the Cybermen. Sorry. Now moving on to Patrick Troughton, we do have The Power of the Daleks, which has recently been animated and released on DVD, seeing as the story is missing. A lot of people don't see it as missing anymore though, but it is still missing. Yeah, The Power of the Daleks, a brilliant story. I love The Power of the Daleks. Such a good start to Patrick Troughton's era as the second Doctor. Now moving on to the Moonbase. Yeah, I love the Moonbase. Brilliant Cyberman story. Yeah, Moonbase, 10 out of 10 all the way. Now moving on to another Cyberman story. This is the Tomb of the Cybermen Special Edition. Now something I've noticed recently, every single Patrick Troughton story, apart from Fury from the Deep, starts with the word the. Yeah, Tomb of the Cybermen Special Edition, first ever Doctor Who story I watched featuring Patrick Troughton, so yeah, very good story. Now moving on to the Ice Warriors. Yeah, it's a good introduction to the Ice Warriors, however, it's not the best of stories. A lot of people like it. The Enemy of the World. Love this story. Possibly one of my favourite Doctor Who stories. Not just of the 60s, but of all time. Yeah, love The Enemy of the World. Doctor Who takes on James Bond. Now moving on to The Web of Fear. Yeah, I love The Web of Fear. A brilliant story. And its introduction to Unit. Only downfall of this story is episode 3 is reconstructed because it is missing. Now moving on to The Invasion. Yeah, an 8-part epic featuring the Cybermen. Yeah, I love The Invasion. The Seeds of Death Special Edition. Not as good as the Ice Warriors. Probably my worst Patrick Troughton in this collection. Not that I don't like it, it's just that I really need to rewatch this story. The War Games. A brilliant 10-part epic to end Patrick Troughton's era. So good. Now moving on to John Pertwee's era, and now we have moved on to the 70s. So we've got Spearhead from Space Special Edition. Brilliant start to John Pertwee's era. Doctor Who and the Silurians. Yeah, a good story apart from the title. Yeah, you must admit it is a pretty bad title. Doctor Who and the Silurians. Moving on to Inferno Special Edition. What a brilliant 7-part story. So yeah, moving on to the Daemons. Yeah, love the Daemons. Brilliant 5-parter. The Master doesn't do much, however, it is still a good story. Now moving on to Day of the Daleks. Yeah, I love Day of the Daleks. This DVD also has a special edition which is good, has better effects and Dalek voices. The Dalek voices in the original are pretty lame, but they're good in the special edition. Yeah, I love the Day of the Daleks. Didn't used to like it, but I like it now. Now moving on to the second shelf. So we have got the Sea Devils. Love the Sea Devils. A lot better than Doctor Who and the Silurians, but I still love Doctor Who and the Silurians. It's just the Sea Devils is even better. Now moving on to the 10th anniversary of Doctor Who, which is the 3 Doctors Special Edition. Yeah, a brilliant story, good run around. Carnival of Monsters Special Edition. Yeah, it's okay, not the best of stories though, in my opinion. Now moving on to Frontier in Space. What a brilliant, brilliant story. Love this story. We have everything in this story, from Daleks to Draconians to Ogrons to the Master to the Doctor to humans. Yeah, this story is action-packed and monster-packed. Now moving on to the not-so-good Planet of the Daleks. Yeah, it is a good runaround. However, it's a bit recycled. Now moving on to the Green Death Special Edition. What a brilliant departure for Joe Grant. Yeah, I love the Green Death. Brilliant story. Now moving on to the Time Warrior. Yeah, the Time Warrior is a good introduction to Sarah Jane Smith. However, I'm not that fond of the Time Warrior. So yes, that concludes my John Pertwee era. Let's move on to Tom Baker. So we have got Robot. A brilliant, brilliant story to kick off Tom Baker's reign as the Doctor. Genesis of the Daleks. Yeah, I love Genesis of the Daleks. Everyone loves Genesis of the Daleks. So good. And brilliant introduction to Davros. Now moving on to Revenge of the Cybermen. I don't really like it. Terror of the Zygons. Yeah, I love this story. This is a recent addition to my Doctor Who DVD collection. Yeah, I love Terror of the Zygons. Pyramids of Mars. Yeah, first classic story I watched when it was on the Sarah Jane Adventures Series 4 box set a bit randomly. Yeah, I love Pyramids of Mars. The Deadly Assassin. Yeah, I love this story. This is the only classic story not to feature a companion. The Robots of Death Special Edition. Brilliant. Didn't used to like it, but I love it now. The Invisible Enemy. Yeah, only good thing about it is K9's introduction. Destiny of the Daleks. City of Death. Love it. First Tom Baker I watched. No, sorry. First classic DVD I got. So yes, moving on to Sharda, the unbroadcast and incomplete story. Don't like this version of Sharda much, but I like the Paul McGann version. Now, ending Tom Baker's reign as the Doctor, we do have Legopolis. A brilliant, brilliant ending for Tom Baker's Doctor. And yes, we see the return of the Master in this story. Yes, you may be asking, where is the Keeper of Traken? Well, I did get Legopolis at a charity shop, and then I got Castrovalva in an introduction to the 5th Doctor. So yes, we do have Castrovalva, Peter Davison's first story. Yeah, I love Castrovalva. A lot of people don't, but I love it. Now moving on to The Visitation. Yeah, an average story. Black Orchid, a brilliant 2-part. I love Black Orchid. You either love it or you hate it. Earthshock, departure for Adric, the only companion to actually die, because now Stephen Moffat brings them back to life. So yeah, Earthshock, brilliant story. The 5 Doctors 25th Anniversary Edition. I really want to pick up the original edition, since it's the first ever Doctor Who DVD. So yes, the 5 Doctors, brilliant, brilliant story, and a brilliant special. So yes, moving on to the next shelf, and I have made quite a bit of a mess from it. So yes, we have got Warriors of the Deep. Yeah, I love this story. A lot of fans hate it. I personally adore this story. Brilliant clash between the Silurians and the Sea Devils. Now moving on to The Awakening, also love this story, a lot of Doctor Who fans don't. Yeah, The Awakening is a very underrated two-parter. Love two-parters. I don't know what it is about classic two-parters, but I love them. Resurrection of the Daleks Special Edition, yeah, it is a two-part, but I don't love it. Yeah, Resurrection of the Daleks, it still doesn't click with me, this story. Caves of Anshazani Special Edition, love this story, didn't used to like it, I used to hate it, but now I absolutely adore this story, a definite 10 out of 10. I didn't sort of appreciate the love for this story. So yes, that concludes my Peter Davison era. Let's move on to Colin Baker's era, which is sadly quite small. We have got Vengeance on Varos Special Edition. Yeah, I love Vengeance on Varos. We never actually saw that. So yeah, Vengeance on Varos, brilliant Colin Baker story. But not so brilliant, The Two Doctors. Only good thing about it is Patrick Troughton's return. So yes, moving on to my also rather small Sylvester McCoy era. We have got Remembrance of the Daleks Special Edition. Love this story. Brilliant story featuring Caldwell School. Silver Nemesis. Also love this story. You either love it or you hate it. I personally am a bit in between. Survival, The One to End, Classic Who. Yeah, it's a good story, however, it's not really a good end for Classic Who. And also, the writer who wrote this is returning to Doctor Who. Then we have got the movie Special Edition featuring Paul McGann. Paul McGann's only story as the Doctor. And yes, the only good thing about it is Paul McGann's Doctor. Now moving on to my final classic DVD, we have got More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS. Yeah, I personally don't like it, some people do. So yes, moving on to Modern Who, we have got Series 1, Christopher Eccleston's only series. Love Series 1, brilliant series. Then we have got Series 2, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5. Then here we have got David Tennant's second series, which is Series 3, Series 4, the specials, the complete 5th series, the complete 6th series, the complete 7th series, Day of the Doctor, the complete 8th series, the complete 9th series, the 10 Christmas specials, which features The Time of the Doctor, if you were wondering where that was, Torchwood Series 1, Torchwood Series 3, Children of Earth, The Sarah Jane Adventures, Invasion of the Bane, The Sarah Jane Adventures Complete 4th Series, and An Adventure in Space and Time. Love this, absolutely adore this docudrama. Then we have got the pretty underrated K9 & Company, A Girl's Best Friend. Yeah, I like this story. A lot of people say, do not watch this. I am saying, watch this. Please, watch this if you have it. Then we have got a few miscellaneous Doctor Who DVDs, such as Last Christmas, which I have not actually played. Then we have got the Series 9 in volumes. Volume 1. Sorry, Part 1. And then we have got Part 2, as well as the Slipcase 4, The Power of the Daleks. So yes, that concludes my Doctor Who DVD collection for November 2016.